Welcome back. Today we're diving into a genuinely beautiful, deeply moving explainer on the transformation of family bonds. We so often inherit these culturally weighted titles in life, like mother-in-law or daughter-in-law. But what does it actually take to strip away those rigid labels and build a genuine, authentic connection? Well, that's exactly what we're going to unpack today.
So, the massive question we'll be keeping in mind throughout this analysis is simply this. What truly makes a family? Is it strictly the blood in our veins, or is it actually forged by the empathy and understanding we share? As you'll see, we're looking at a narrative today that perfectly illustrates how empathy can literally rewrite the script on traditional family dynamics.
Section 1. Anxious Beginnings. The Weight of Expectations. We're going to start by establishing that baseline of anxiety that, let's be honest, almost always accompanies traditional family dynamics. We're talking specifically about the crushing pressure placed on a new daughter-in-law entering an established household. Picture the scene for a second. It's a rainy evening. A new daughter-in-law, Radhika, is standing anxiously by the window. The soft sound of the rain is kind of masking her hidden tears. She's completely overwhelmed by the sheer pressure of leaving her old life, her parents, her childhood home, and stepping into this entirely new ecosystem. She's terrified of a deeply human fear, just not being good enough for her new family. It's a heavy, heavy burden, and this expectation of flawless performance is something so many people relate to.
Section 2. Empathy over expectations. Dismantling the hierarchy.
Okay, so seeing Radhika's quiet distress, her mother-in-law, Savitri Devi, does something amazing. She initiates a fundamental shift. She actually approaches the crying Radhika, places a comforting hand on her head, and says, "I am certainly your mother-in-law, but first, I am your mother." Wow, with this single powerful offer of vulnerability, Savitri completely dismantles the traditional hierarchy of authority. Instead of demanding respect through fear or rigid tradition, she offers a safe harbor. She acknowledges the intimidating title she holds, sure, but she instantly supersedes it with the nurturing, supportive role of a mother.
And this brilliantly illustrates a really stark contrast. On one side, you have Radhika's traditional fears. Literally, the crushing weight of trying to please absolutely everyone in her new household. But on the other side, you have Savitri's liberating wisdom. She tells Radhika flat out that she doesn't need to please everyone. The only real requirement is to keep truth and honesty in her heart. This is incredibly liberating. It shifts the entire focus from external performance right back to internal integrity. It essentially tells us that authentic relationships don't need you to be a flawless performer. They just need you to be a genuine human being.
Section 3. Building bonds through action. The mechanics of connection.
Now, empathy has to be acted upon to actually mean anything, right? So how did this bond flourish in the real world? Words of comfort are a fantastic starting point, but action is what solidifies trust. The very next morning, Radhika wakes up super early, driven by that lingering sense of obligation. She's trying to tackle all the household chores entirely by herself, but Savitri steps right in. She stops her and says there's absolutely no need to wake up so early, declaring they're going to do the housework together. When Radhika insists she wants to help out of duty, Savitri just laughs and says, "And I want to help you." That is what family is. By moving from emotional reassurance to shared domestic work, and finally to open conversations like cooking together or chatting on the terrace in the evenings, Savitri proves that their relationship is built on true collaboration, not subordination.
Naturally, this kind of equality raises a few eyebrows in a traditional setting. Neighbors start gossiping, wondering how on earth a mother-in-law and daughter-in-law could possibly be this friendly and collaborative. I absolutely love Savitri's response to this judgment. She replies, "Relationships are strengthened by understanding and love, not age." That is such a powerful takeaway. True connection completely bypasses generational divides. It ignores the arbitrary rules set by society and focuses purely on mutual respect and affection.
Section 4. Support during a crisis. The ultimate test.
Because true bonds are always tested under pressure. And for Radhika and Savitri, that pressure arrived completely unexpectedly. It's easy to be kind when things are going perfectly, but the ultimate test comes in the form of a sudden, terrifying phone call from Radhika's maternal home. Her own mother has suddenly fallen severely ill. Immediate panic sets in. Radhika is deeply torn. She desperately wants to rush to her mother's side, but that ingrained anxiety of her duties in her marital home threatens to hold her back. Will her new family actually allow her to just drop her responsibilities and leave?
Well, this is where the foundation they've built truly pays off. Instead of clinging to traditional demands or guilting Radhika about abandoning the household chores, look at Savitri's reaction. It's an immediate, decisive command. Pack your bags. Your mother needs you.
There's absolutely zero hesitation. Savitri instantly recognizes the crisis and prioritizes Radhika's role as a daughter over her role as a daughter-in-law. She proves unequivocally that her earlier promise of being a mother first wasn't just words, it was the absolute truth.
Radhika still hesitates out of guilt, asking who's going to do the housework. Savitri delivers this ultimate, comforting reassurance. I'll handle the house. No one can replace a mother. The result? A tearful, deeply bonded embrace. In a moment of absolute vulnerability and fear, Savitri stepped up as a true protector and ally. She cemented a level of trust that absolutely no cultural mandate or forced respect could ever create.
Section 5. Redefining the family bond, from duty to belonging. So time passes, and Radhika eventually returns to her marital home. She finds an exhausted but incredibly supportive Savitri, who had been managing everything entirely alone just to give Radhika peace of mind. When Radhika thanks her for everything, Savitri asks for nothing in return, except that Radhika live in the house with a sense of apnapan. Now, apnapan is this really beautiful concept meaning true belonging and kinship. Radhika smiles and replies, "This isn't just your house anymore, it is my house too." Think about that shift. What started as a relationship dictated by traditional titles, authority, and fearful obligation has entirely transformed. It's now defined by belonging, shared ownership, and consciously choosing heart over duty.
So what's the big takeaway here? How are true bonds actually forged in our own lives? Well, through years of facing both hardships and joys together, Radhika and Savitri completely shattered the usual stereotypes. They proved that a mother-in-law doesn't have to be a strict enforcer, and a daughter-in-law is never just an outsider. The formula is right here. Unwavering trust, mutual respect, those small, everyday moments of shared love, and crucially, empathy translated into real action. It requires a conscious, daily choice to break traditional stereotypes that just no longer serve human connection. And this brings us to the beautiful, overarching lesson of the story, captured perfectly right here. Sometimes relationships aren't made of blood. Some are built on trust, respect, and small moments of love. When two people consciously step outside of their assigned roles and genuinely try to understand each other as human beings, any relationship, even one traditionally fraught with tension, can become just as beautiful, resilient, and profound as that of a parent and child. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a vital thought to reflect upon. How do you define your own family bonds? Are you relying on inherited titles and strict obligations? Are you actively building trust and empathy? And more importantly, what small, empathetic actions are you going to take to transform those relationships today? Thanks so much for joining me to explore the beautiful transformation of family bonds. I really hope this sparks some wonderful changes in your own life and relationships.